What? Democrats didn't drive prices high enough? Chicago Mayor Johnson pushes for city grocery tax. That is the Democrats' answer for everything. Not cut government spending, tax people, tax the people. As if prices aren't already bad, especially in Democrat ran places like Chicago. I don't get it. You know, Trump can only do but so much right now. And because they ran Chicago into the ground, they have to get the money from somewhere. And their answer to that is the grocery tax, to tax your groceries. It's ridiculous. So we're going to talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. And hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Red State. And they report that in this episode of Only Chicagoans Could Elect a More Inept Mayor Than Lori Lightfoot, well, we have brilliant news from Chicago City Hall, folks. Embattled Mayor Brandon Johnson, whose approval rating hovers around 7%. That's wild. I don't know how you not be recalled with the 7% approval rating. But anyway, is pushing the Windy City aldermen to implement a city grocery tax, just as the Illinois state grocery tax is set to expire. I mean, nothing was, we were just kidding, like slapping a new grocery tax on the city's residents before anyone notices the state grocery tax is gone. That is some slick stuff. Hoping that people don't notice the difference. Johnson's fellow gurus press aldermen to fast track his last tax grab at Tuesday's revenue subcommittee meeting. Why the rush? Because when the state tax expires, the city will likely face an even larger budget deficit than it already has, digging the budget hole $80 million deeper than it currently roughly $1 billion deficit. That's just crazy. Like, how do these people continue to run at a deficit and then pretend like your city is great, like they're doing amazing? I don't understand. We're talking classic Brandon Johnson logic here. Stop the bleeding by further driving up the prices of bread, milk, and eggs, along with other groceries. Well done, Mayor. Well done. Chicago's budget director, Annette Guzman, said, quote, "We must reaffirm the grocery tax before the state's deadline." Here's more from the Chicago Tribune. Governor J.B. Pritzker argued that the 1% grocery tax is regressive. It hits poor families harder when he announced last year he would end it, though the same state budget that removed the grocery levy added almost $900 million in tax hikes. But Pritzker left the door open for local governments, which receive all the tax revenue, to implement the same tax on their own. So that's a way for him to save face. So he we're going to get rid of this grocery tax. I know y'all struggling. We're going to remove the grocery tax from y'all. But we'll let the individual municipalities and cities, we'll let them go ahead and add a tax on that themselves. So I can look good for getting rid of taxes, but yet y'all continue to take the people money. That is some slick stuff. Over 150 communities across Illinois have decided to enact local grocery taxes, leaving many Illinoisans set to pay the same bill to a different body. Johnson and the city council have so far put off the thorny decision, but must decide to implement it by October 1st for it to take effect when the state's tax ends next year. I mean, again, Democrats' solution to everything is taxing everyone. But yet they pretend they're for the people. Oh, we just want to tax the wealthy. They can afford it. No, everyone gets this tax. Quote, "If we fail to do the same, we will leave critical services on the chopping block," Guzman said. This is what they always say. The deadline is closer than it appears. The legislation must still be introduced, will likely face stalling efforts from opponents, and must win over a city council majority by the end of September, with aldermen planning to take their typical August vacation. Newsflash. Pritzker was right with respect to the grocery tax being regressive. That's what I was saying. Incidentally, while the Illinois state sales tax rate is 6.25%, Cook County residents, including Chicagoans, pay an additional 2.75% sales tax, while Chicago residents pay an additional 1.25% sales tax for a grand total of 10.25%. That is crazy. That is super crazy. You paying 10.25% taxes on stuff that you buy, and then toss an additional 1% grocery tax, and you have one of the 11,863,422 reasons not to live in Chicago. Thank you very much. That's what I'm saying. I would never ever. I mean, they tax you into oblivion. Johnson's brilliantly argued on Tuesday that the city would not be creating a grocery tax if it elects to implement one because the state's set to expire tax already exists, adding, there is a process in which the collection of grocery tax is now being placed in the responsibility of municipalities, right? So it was a function that the state of Illinois decided to relinquish and leave it to the cities to collect the tax. So we're not creating a grocery tax. We're just creating a process by which we can collect it. That is some slick stuff. That is some slick stuff right there. Who is listening to this man? No, we didn't implement this tax. I mean, the tax is already happening. It's just now the state has stopped collecting the tax and making us collect our own taxes from y'all. That's what he's saying. So don't blame me for it. This dude, oh man, this is sickening. The Chicago City Council has not yet voted on a grocery tax. Alderman Andre Vasquez pointed out during the meeting that a local tax was not included in Johnson's 2025 budget, which now puts the council in an awkward position. You think? The Democrat Party has never been less popular as voters reject their globalist agenda. Oh, that's some advertisement that's there. Sorry about that. But yeah, so it's crazy, man. I don't understand how they can continue, how Democrats can continue to get away with taxing the average American person and pretending like they're taxing the wealthy. Like, this is just crazy. This goes to show they really don't care anything about you. But y'all leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Until next time, peace.